Oh, hey there! I did not see you. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today's video is going to be kind of offbeat because this is going to be more like my train of thought, something that I've been thinking about, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about it. I feel like this is a safe space we have created. We can talk about stuff. It is kind of going to be about finding joy and what might bring happiness. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and claim that I know this key to happiness, the secret to all good things. No. But I just want to talk about what has worked for me. Okay, so how do I start this? Anybody? Any help? Yeah, I mean, I know. I'm supposed to be the one talking here and you're supposed to be the one listening. You are very patient. Oh my god. Thanks a lot. Okay, so let's just start by saying I'm someone who likes to do a lot of things. That was a very eloquent sentence, Guzzle. Let's start again. I'm a girl who enjoys doing a lot of things, partaking in a lot of activities. Now, when I say I like to do things, you would assume that I may be good at them. Since I've made a lifestyle out of it, so I must have some degree of fluency in doing things. Okay, granted, but the sad reality is that I don't know. And what's worse is that I don't trust other people's opinions either. I am not the best judge of how good or bad I am at something. I feel like there has to be a better parameter to judge whether or not something is good or bad, to a point that if I dare put it out into the world, I will not spontaneously combust or get crushed by a moon-sized rock because it'll be embarrassing. Not the crushing part, but like the feeling embarrassed part. Getting crushed by a rock would also be embarrassing for some people. Not me. I'm cool with that. I think the goal is to indulge in an activity, create something out of it, and so fully let myself experience it that the next time that I look at it or I even think about it, I don't end up making this face. So as I have grown older, I have become more and more fascinated by mistakes. How we all make them, how I make them, and how it can be an incredibly different set of ideas that constitute a mistake. How we all shape our lives around it, some in trying to avoid them at all costs and others in trying to make as many of them as possible. Even simply thinking out loud about the topic of happiness, like openly, publicly talking about it, somehow feels very wrong to me. It is so diverse, and only very recently the field of positive psychology has started studying about it. So before we go any further, I would like to officially state that these are my personal views on happiness and joy based on what I've learned and experienced in my life. As with everything, take it with a grain of salt. Often, the person professing about joy and happiness is the one who's looked at with such suspicion. Like, who are you to talk about it? How happy are you in your life? So, just to answer this question, I took the Oxford Happiness Questionnaire and I scored a whopping 4.3. Why is it good? You ask? Please ask me. Go ahead. It's not the best, but that is quite literally the average score because it goes as high as up to a 6 and the lowest you can score on it is a 1. So a 4.3 is pretty decent. Also, I'm going to leave the link of it in the description box so that you can check it out for yourself. You might actually find out how happy you are in your life. Apart from that, the only authority that I'm drawing from here is that I am human, just like you, your neighbor, other people you know. So just like everybody else, I too experience a full spectrum of emotions. Maybe a little bit more intensely than others, but I'm sure that's debatable. So by the virtue of having experienced joy and happiness, I can talk about it. It's just that simple. I think creating something brings joy. Happiness does not necessarily has to come from inside. I know, these days, kind of an unpopular opinion. But it can very well come from outside of yourself if you know where to look. We get a great sense of pleasure and kicks of sweet dopamine when we work towards something, when we work towards a goal that we have set for ourselves. I know, she's talking about goals again. Make her stop. But just hear me out, okay? Especially when you create something with your own hands or when you bring something to life. Try creating art, start a painting, create a sketchbook, take a cooking class. Join Skillshare, invest your free time in learning a new skill. Take photos, create a portfolio. Write your first lyric. Learn how to make music. Work out. Create your dream body. Write your first piece of code. Create a website or an app, even if you don't have a computer science background. Start a video diary. Explore your thoughts, share your feelings with the entire world. I can go on and on about this. The possibilities of the things that you can do for yourself are endless. And it's like a snowball effect. One thing leads to another. Well, the goal is not to become a savant. The goal is to spend some quality time with yourself. I know you're more than your job, your family, your friends, your subscriptions. And when you take up a new challenge, something that works your creative muscle, and you spend hours and hours learning it, and initially you will fail at it. You're going to be bad. You will make a lot of mistakes and it will get very frustrating. But I want you to believe that that is just the learning curve. Keep at it and eventually something will click. You've successfully made your first seamless chord transition. You finally drew your first pair of symmetrical eyes. Whatever it may be, through many iterations, you have finally figured out what the problem is. And the feedback that you get is pure exhilaration. And you are further motivated to keep trying till the challenge is complete. So these moments of small wins and mastery add a lot to our sense of well-being, our self-confidence. And again, I'm going to say that word, self-efficacy. Well, it's two words. We can put a hyphen in the middle. The best part is that there is this general sense of contentment and relief at the end of the task. And it doesn't just end there. You will soon find yourself looking for another task, another goal that you can conquer. It's a great feeling. Number 2. Numero dos. Do not be afraid to make a fool of yourself. Or just do not be afraid to be a fool. I know, counterintuitive. So what was I saying? Don't be afraid to be a fool. The sooner we can free ourselves from the grips of perfection, the sooner we can start the exploration process. Most of the times we are just afraid to look bad. We are afraid to look stupid in front of other people. Clearly, I think about that stuff a lot. But you know, the thing is that it stops us from doing the things that are bigger than us. You know it could have made a great story one day. However, that fear most times than not is just inside our heads. As humans, we are very poor at affective forecasting. Affective forecasting, which just means how we predict how we are going to feel about something in the future. We grossly overestimate the intensity and the duration of our emotional reactions. So thoughts like, if I make a fool out of myself, I will die. Other people will hate me. I will not be able to handle it. All I have to say is, no, you will not die. And people will stop caring about it probably 24 hours after, because everybody's just way too caught up in their lives to care about other people. And you will be able to handle it. It all starts with, if you think you can, you can. I think you can, yes. So maybe, just maybe, how something makes us feel when we are in the process, when we are making the journey inside of our heads towards creating something, should be the only true indicator of how good or bad something is, as a type of a reinforcement to determine whether or not we will do something in the future. For example, I love to write, but I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who will readily tell me that I shouldn't. But I just love how it makes me feel when I write. It's a very cathartic process for me. Words are how I see things when I'm in the midst of a personal crisis. I am not perfect, and I'm aware of that. And no matter how hard I try, there will always be snobs out there, and by their standards, I will never be perfect. And maybe there is no such thing as perfectionism. And at the end of the day, I think it's good, and that should be enough. Why do I do such things? So how about you take that leap? You step out of your bubble. There is a whole world out there waiting for you to come out and play with it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little different from the last one. I am just trying new things, and I'm just trying to figure out the kind of content I really want to make and keep making. I really love to write. I'm sure you know by now. You don't? Okay, I need to get out of my head. I'm excited and I'm scared a little bit, but we'll do it. We will be a fool. I just want to thank you for watching, and I hope it gave you something to think about. Think about. And I hope it gave you something to think about. I will see you next time. Yeah, okay, I'm going to be consistent. I will see you next week, and till then, bye. Bye bye. Bye.